Welcome to the Global War Watch Network. Today we're diving deep into one of the most high-stakes topics out there,
Hmm.
nuclear security. Specifically, we're looking at nations where there's maybe some perceived instability.
Which inevitably brings us to Pakistan's nuclear arsenal.
Exactly. Our mission
Mhm.
here is to cut through some of the noise. We want to examine the facts behind the headlines surrounding Pakistan's weapons. Who's really in control? What's the system?
And why do these concerns, these controversies about safety and command keep cropping up? It's a persistent issue.
Right. So to get a handle on this, we've pulled together a range of sources, research from places like the Belfer Center, SASI,
Historical reports too. Rediff.com, the Economic Times.
and official info, Wikipedia, Raksha Ayurveda,
Hmm.
trying for that multifaceted view.
It's absolutely critical stuff. Understanding the C2, the command and control, isn't just military strategy. It's about regional stability, global non-proliferation.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. How did Pakistan get here? Their nuclear journey, it started way back 1954 and unfolded in like 3 phases.
Yeah. That first phase, 54 to 74, was really about getting the basics down. Foundational knowledge, research.
But then India tested its device in 74.
That was the big catalyst. Suddenly, the focus shifted. Phase 2, 74 to 98, became intensely military-focused, uranium enrichment, weapon components really gearing up.
And phase 3, 98 onwards, that's when they refined things. Sophisticated weapons, better delivery systems.
Exactly. And the arsenal size, estimates vary, of course, maybe 50, 60 warheads around 2008.
Growing to maybe 120 by 2015. I also saw analysis suggesting enough fissile material for potentially 350 warheads by then.
Yeah, the potential is significant, and they have delivery systems, modified F-16s, Mirages, surface-to-surface missiles.
What about their doctrine? It seems geared toward deterrence, stopping aggression.
Right. No formal, no first-use policy, which is noteworthy, but they have said they wouldn't use them against non-nuclear states.
But what about controlling all this early on? You mentioned the focus was on building, not controlling.
That's a key point. Before 98, the C2 system was, well, relatively weak. Less attention paid during the buildup.
Even though they had bodies like the National Nuclear Command Authority, NNCA, from
Well,
75.
they existed, yes, but the actual power dynamics within them could shift quite a bit depending on the broader political climate in Pakistan at the time. It
Yeah.
wasn't always clear-cut.
So the 1998 tests Chagayan 2 that really forced a change.
Absolutely. It was a wake-up call. They knew they needed a much more robust system, so began this 4-stage transformation process.
Leading to what's called the mature system by 2007, when it became law. This wasn't just internal, right? International pressure played a role.
Oh, definitely. Post 9/11 especially, the international spotlight intensified. There was huge pressure to demonstrate secure control.
And the cornerstone of this new system is the National Command Authority, the NCA, set up in 2000.
That's right. The highest decision-making body, chaired by the Prime Minister.
And the membership is broad PM, key ministers like foreign, interior, finance, defense.
Defense production, yeah. Plus, the top military brass, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the service chiefs, and crucially, the DGs of the SPD and ISI.
ISI being the Inter-Services Intelligence. So a mix of civilian and military heads at the very top.
Designed that way, yes, to ensure buy-in and representation in those critical, ultimate decisions.
And the NCA itself has 2 committees.
Correct. The Employment Control Committee, or ECC, that's Policy Deployment Strategy, and the Development Control Committee, DCC, handling the technical side, finances, program oversight.
Decision-making is meant to be by consensus.
Ideally, yes, with the PM having the final say if consensus isn't reached.
Okay, supporting this whole structure is the Strategic Plans Division, the SPD.
The SPD is the permanent secretariat for the NCA, formed around 98, established formally in 2000. Led by a lieutenant general, maybe 50, 70 officers.
And its role is pretty central, it sounds like.
Hugely central. They develop the policy options, they implement the NCO's decisions, draft the operational plans, manage things day to day. They're the engine room.
And security. You hear a lot about that.
Well, the SPD has its own dedicated security division. We're talking about a force of around 10,000 personnel. Their only job is guarding the nuclear assets.
10,000. That's a significant force.
It shows the level of resources dedicated to physical security. Then, for operational control of delivery systems, you have the specific service commands, Army, Navy, Air Force Strategic Forces commands.
And the idea there is redundancy. No single person.
Exactly. No single individual can operate a weapon alone. That's fundamental.
Plus the specific procedures, the 2-man rule, or sometimes 3-man rule, for authorizing assembly and use.
Great. And the ability to cancel a launch pretty much up to the last second. Plus, contingency plans for disruptions. They've thought through various scenarios.
So on paper, it sounds quite comprehensive. A mature system, as they say.
It does. Pakistan has undeniably put a lot of effort into building this structure since '98.
Yet, the international concerns persist. These sort of doomsday scenarios haven't gone away.
No, they haven't. Worries about theft, unauthorized use, even a terrorist takeover of the government, these keep getting
Triggered by
discussed.
specific events like 9/11, obviously.
And the AQ Khan scandal in 2003, 2004, that was massive. Plus, ongoing political instability just keeps feeding those concerns.
There have been specific doubts raised about who ultimately controls things.
Hmm.
I remember that report from a former Indian RNAW officer back in '08.
Saying the program was the sole preserve of the army?
Yeah, and claiming Benazir Bhutto learned more from the CIA than her own generals, and citing Nawaz Sharif's struggles during the Musharraf coup. It raises questions about civilian oversight, doesn't it?
It certainly fuels the narrative that maybe the military holds the real keys, regardless of the formal structure, and that leads to worries about, say, a messy transfer of power. What happens then?
Or fissures within the army itself, rivalries impacting control.
That's another layer. Or the nightmare scenario. Fundamentalists, inside or outside the military, getting access. The whole Islamic bomb idea, potentially proliferating for ideological reasons.
And we've seen assassination attempts on leaders Musharraf, Bhutto tragically killed. Those events highlight the potential for sudden vacuums at the top.
Though, as we said, the system does have contingency plans for precisely those kinds of leadership disruption.
Okay, now, this is where things get really interesting and controversial.
Okay.
That claim from July 2025 by the former CIA officer John Kiriakou.
Ah, yes. The claim that Pakistan's arsenal is effectively under the command of an American general, allegedly told to him by a Pakistani general.
It's an explosive claim.
Yeah.
But we absolutely have to add the context here. Kiriakou is a convicted whistleblower, served time for leaks.
Crucially, his claim is completely unsupported. No official confirmation, no independent verification, zero.
And both U.S. and Pakistani officials flatly deny it. They consistently state the arsenal is secure and solely under Pakistani control.
That's the official and widely accepted position, however. There's still the matter of those reported U.S. contingency plans, the snatch and grab scenarios.
Right, reported by NBC. Brookings. Highly classified plans for worst-case situations. Chaos in Pakistan, terror threats, war with India, and extremist takeover.
But again, the key point. There's absolutely no public evidence these plans have ever been activated or that the U.S. has any kind of real-time operational authority. It's contingency planning, not current control.
And the U.S. is still very much engaged. Look at the 2024 concerns about Pakistan's long-range missile development, possibly reaching the U.S., leading to sanctions.
It shows continued U.S. focus, not walking away. The relationship is complex, built on counterterrorism needs, nuclear security worries, preventing India-Pakistan conflict.
It goes back to the Cold War, but it's always been a bit bumpy. Lots of fits and starts, issues of trust.
So you have this real tension. On one hand, Pakistan demonstrably improving its C2 system since the late 90s. The risk of unauthorized use is, objectively, much lower.
You even had senior U.S. military figures like Admiral Mullen back in '07 giving positive assessments, saying they saw no signs of insecurity at the time.
And Pakistan has tried to be more transparent. The SPD head, Kidwai, briefing diplomats, journalists, trying to counter the negative perceptions.
But then there's the NPT issue. Pakistan, like India and Israel, hasn't signed the non-proliferation treaty.
Their stance is that it's discriminatory, creates nuclear haves and have-nots. They say they'll only sign if recognized as a nuclear weapon state.
And their bid to join the nuclear suppliers group, the NSG, that's faced hurdles because of the AQ Khan legacy, right?
Exactly. That proliferation history casts a long shadow.
And the regional situation doesn't help. Those recent India-Pakistan flare-ups, the reported BrahMos missile incident near the SPD HQ, must have caused serious jitters.
Described as panic mode in Islamabad, yes. And you have India talking about calling Pakistan's nuclear bluff, not wanting to be subject to nuclear blackmail.
It highlights the fragility, and the U.S. role in stepping in to de-escalate these crises becomes really important.
Influence built through engagement, not by turning away. That seems to be the approach.
So for you listening, why does all this matter? Well, understanding these complexities, the system, the concerns, is vital for grasping regional stability, global non-proliferation efforts.
It even impacts things like foreign investment in Pakistan, their access to civilian nuclear tech. Perception matters hugely.
Which raises that fundamental question, doesn't it? How much do these international perceptions, even the unverified claims or worst-case fears, shape actual policy and diplomacy, regardless of the technical safeguards in place?
It's a constant interplay.
So to wrap up our deep dive, we've seen this clear tension between Pakistan's formalized, much improved nuclear command system and these persistent international worries and sometimes startling claims.
It's a fascinating dance between deterrence, the need for control, and the global demand for transparency in this nuclear age.
Something to think about. How do claims, even ones without solid proof, continue to ripple through global security and affect trust between nations in such a high-stakes environment?
It's a question that doesn't have easy answers.
If you found this deep dive valuable, please do like, share, and subscribe to the Global War Watch Network. We'll keep bringing you these in-depth looks at critical issues.
And please share your own thoughts and perspectives in the comment section below. We'd be interested to hear them.